Hello and welcome to this Ask the Expert, and special welcome to Henrik from Fiftytwo. Very nice to have you here. Thank you. Yeah, we're really happy to have you here. So we have a lot of ground to cover today. If you have any questions, please feel free to post those during the presentation and demos and everything. Post them in the chat, and I'll monitor that, and I'll make sure to ask those to Henrik. So with that said, again, welcome, and over to you.
Thank you. So I will see if I can grab the screen here. Yeah. So I hope you can see my screen.
Yes, perfect.
Perfect. So just a brief introduction to Fiftytwo. Who are we? Well, we are a POS development company located in Denmark. We have offices in Scandinavia, and our main slogan is big enough to matter and small enough to care. That's because we are not a enormous global vendor, so we can actually take care of our Scandinavian customers and really dive into their needs and wanted solutions. Moving on.
Can I just quickly ask on that? We've been working together for a while, and I know that the name Fiftytwo among my colleagues.
Yeah.
Where does that come from?
Well, as it notes down here at the corner, that we started working with data since 1952, and
right,
and that really has been the foundation for everything we do. We have been in the POS business for some 45 years with a POS solution, but data started even before that. So that's where the name comes from.
Ah, cool.
We are present in the whole Nordics, and that's our focus market. So we have customers in Denmark, of course, where we're located, but also in Norway, Sweden, Greenland, and Iceland, the Faroe Islands, and even in Poland and Germany. Not to forget Finland, of course. So these are just some of the customers that we work with today, running our solutions in their stores throughout the Nordics.
Sorry to interrupt, but looking at all these customers, do these customers have something in particular in common? I mean, do you solve this type of customers' problems particularly well? Do you know? Does that question make sense?
Well, I believe we do so. Many of the customers we've had for many years, decades even. We started out in food, but have been working in do-it-yourself and non-food for multiple decades as well. They run our solutions in all their stores and has been doing so for a number of years. I don't have the stats slide with me here.
No.
I don't think that was relevant, but we solve their main needs in the specific focuses for food and do-it-yourself, beauty, and gas stations.
Cool.
So that's our focal areas, with many different solutions deployed all over, from unified commerce perspective, everything from web shops to click and collect orders throughout the system, buy online and retrieve in stores, buy even more in stores on the same receipt, combine discounts, and get the unified data back into your ERP system at the end. So from our customers' point of view, it's important to be fully integrated throughout, from the start of the journey online or in the store and throughout the whole sales process. So that's what we do. We deliver a POS system that can deliver a fully unified commerce experience for both our customers and their customers.
Cool.
But the reason I'm here today with you, Fredrik, is of course to talk about deployment and why it matters. So at Fiftytwo, we have the go-to-market strategy of hybrid deployment. And by hybrid deployment, we mean some solutions, some services belong not just a particular place, but maybe multiple places depending on your needs. So we believe that you should be able to deploy your solution wherever it makes most sense. And that's why we've divided our offering into 3 segments. We have our cloud central services, which mainly belong in the cloud. Doesn't make much sense to have them deployed at edge, but that would be the main master data APIs where you feed your data into the system or retrieve the sales data out again into your ERP systems and business analyst programs. Moving down to the store level, some of our customers believe that store services, managing the store, doing local price adjustments, or getting local store reports belong in the store. Some believe that it's the same throughout. You don't have that much agency in the individual store, so maybe it doesn't need to be deployed at edge. And then, of course, we have our POS, which we suggest or recommend all of our customers to have at least some deployed at edge. And why do you need that at edge? Well, it's quite simple. If you go offline in the stores, well, you want to be able to sell, right? Your
Right.
sales opportunity in the store should not be dependent on whether you have internet connection or not. Today, we have much improved internet reliability with failover FiberNet connections or 5G connections. But even then, if something goes awry, if the data centers are destroyed due to whatever natural disaster situation it can be, a power outage, then you still want to be able to sell in your stores. So that's why we recommend to have edge deployment to some capacity, specifically the POS deployment, which in our case is the main compute engine handling the whole sales process when you have your end customer visiting the store, buying articles, scanning them either via a self-checkout solution or a traditional POS. Well, you need to be able to do that regardless of your internet connectivity. So,
Right.
that's specifically what we what drove us to our partnership with you, Fredrik. That would be to manage this deployment of your edge POS and services. In our case, a store service could also make sense at edge if you must be able to work with your store management procedures in offline cases. Some stores don't have good internet connectivity all the time, or a very slim one with little bandwidth. Then it can make a lot of sense to have that deployed at edge as well. And then, of course, we look at that as the primary use case, but we also have solutions for the next issue you might experience in your stores. That could be a power outage, or at least a partial power outage. And that's where we supply our mobile POS solution. That's a solution we recommend deployed to the cloud. It could be our cloud or a private cloud by the customer, enabling mobile devices with a battery to do sales on 5G. So if your store runs out of power, you could still do sales, or of course bring it out into the yard and do yard sales, etc. So that covers both main issues of light natural disasters for a local store. That would be offline capabilities and power outages. And lastly, on top of that, to handle cyber attacks, we do an emergency add-on to handle some opponent rather attacking your digital infrastructure and disabling that then a completely isolated environment in the cloud makes sense to be able to activate that and continue selling, regardless of your primary main infrastructure being compromised in whatever way that may be.
Really
so
cool.
That's how we cover resilience through deployment, right? This hybrid deployment strategy.
Can I ask, so you say edge first here, and sometimes we hear about like cloud first versus edge first. Can you say a few words on that?
Definitely. Well, our POS is edge first in a deployment sense, and that's because we believe that it should first and foremost work in offline capable situations, right? It must be offline capable, and that is really underlined by an edge first strategy for developing the POS. It doesn't mean that it doesn't run in cloud. It's containerized, it's headless, it can, and it is running. That's how we service the mobile POS solution. It's the same solution running behind the scenes. So it's a unified commerce experience for our customers, right? The same logic applies, the same truth of how to compute stuff applies, and the same base data applies, but it must be resilient. The POS must be resilient, and that's why we have an edge first strategy for the POS part of our services.
Yeah, makes sense.
Well, moving on.
Yeah,
this is it's a busy slide. I hope it can make sense if I just dive a bit into it. I'll try to be brief, but here's an example of how we do hybrid deployment and our edge-centric deployment model and how it looks. So we have some customer systems up top here. Those systems are what we don't deliver, right? So that's what we describe as best of breed. Someone is really good at doing logistics, ERP systems, loyalty. You most often have a web shop already, an order management system servicing that web shop. That all belongs to those who are really good at that. We do POS development, and that's what we focus on. So we would rather integrate. So that runs somewhere, integrating to our platform. And then you could imagine that you have some central services. That's what we believe belongs to the cloud. It could be as a service. It could also be in a private cloud deployment. But that would be where you feed base data, so prices and discount informations, articles, and all such stuff that is the basis for what you're selling, campaigns, etc. It could also be where you manage gift cards and vouchers, because you want that to be a cross-function feature, right? It should work on web shops or bring your own devices to stores, and it should also work in your traditional tills in the stores. In the cloud, you also have your central management tool. So here says Avassa. This is your service running here. So you offer it both as a service or as a privately deployed solution. So that's why it's up here, and that's also because it's a natural cloud solution running. And then, of course, we have our cloud POS readily running in cloud, both as a service and as an edge solution.
Yep. Cool.
And then in the stores, in the physical stores, we would look at, well, maybe you want to deploy your back office, your store management tool to run all the store processes on a day-to-day basis. So that could be deployed as a service in the physical store. Likewise, you have your standardized POS here. It's a POS service running here with some peripherals, some hardware setup. The same goes for the self-checkout. It's the same solution. It just has slightly different peripherals, maybe a slightly different configuration or setup, say the UI, but it's all in all the same service running behind the scenes. And this all should be managed somehow. How do you ensure that it's kept up to date and alive and that it's working? And that's where Avassa comes in, right? That's where we use your solution to deploy our POS solution and store services at edge. And lastly, I'll just mention that we of course have our mobile POS running on Android here. So that's just an application, an app running on Android connected to the Cloud POS infrastructure.
Cool. Yeah, thank you. That was a good walkthrough of this. It's just a very quick question. I know we're pressing a little bit on time here, but does a customer of yours typically have at least one of all these components?
Yeah. So
yeah,
all of our customers have a POS, and by far most have one running at the edge, simply to ensure offline capabilities.
Yeah.
The mPOS is quite popular as well, especially with an emergency add-on. And the self-checkout solution is a split. Some prefer to be a Cloud POS as well to alleviate some management of that.
Okay.
Some prefer to be the primary source of managing and handling your customers. It's getting, at least here in Denmark, very, very popular to get customers self-service themselves. Well, that's obvious. So it's really a split. It depends on how much importance your self-checkout solution is to processing customers through your store.
Right. Cool.
And the store service, well, it really depends. The back office capabilities really depends on whether you have, say, small independent store owners. They really want to work with everything themselves, have it up and available all the time, no matter what. And you also have some bigger franchises or chains that are more or less fully centralized in the management part. So that could belong at a cloud service instead.
Okay, cool.
So let's look at it, Fredrik. We actually have a demo here.
Looking forward to the demo. I can see a monitor in the background. I hope that's going to be part of the demo.
I hope so as well. That's the intention. Let's hope the demo curse doesn't apply. So here we are. I have a POS running here on a physical device behind me. It's well, looking at your solution here, it's this site here, and it's specifically this host here. That's what's running behind me. It's running healthy, and it has some metrics, so we can see that already now we have some information on what's running behind me. It looks like it's observable, so that's nice. So looking at the solution itself, what is it running? Well, it's running a full edge POS here at my office. That's nice. I have ways to do log retrieval. I have a registry looking at what images is available to it through the application. And this really is a very straightforward way to manage an edge device.
Cool. Yeah, I'm glad you like it.
I want to zoom into the application running here behind me. So that would be a full edge POS here. So that's a POS running fully containerized, headless, and on edge. Here it is. It's healthy. I can zoom into the application service instance here and look at each container running in the deployment. So I don't want to be too technical, but basically it consists of a core service that's running headless. That's the POS. Then it has a representation for each device connected to it. So there is an EFT device, and there is a scanner, and there's a printer in the background, right? So that's all here. And then it has a browser representation. So it's running a browser here that's servicing the UI, and also has a customer-facing display on the background.
Very cool. I like the fact that you embedded the browser in a container. That's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, so the goal here was to make it as easy and straightforward to manage the edge deployment. So the operating system on the host is managing very, very little, and we can from afar ensure that the browser is kept up to date and security patched and capable to manage all the APIs and push UIs that's served by the POS itself. So
sorry, I just since you're talking a little bit about containerization, what benefits do you see bringing the software into container give you basically?
Well, one of the obvious wins is, of course, that you know exactly what you're deploying when you deploy it, because it's the same as defined by the image. It means it can be managed and maintained by the development team. So that's a big boon. We can ensure that whenever we update dependencies, that it's kept compatible with the application, and thus continuously kept secure. Another strong win is, of course, that we can deploy it to any environment. So this is the exact same image that we deploy on Edge via Avassa that we deploy in our cloud.
Right.
So it's the same solution running everywhere. And it also means we can separate concerns, right? So we have dedicated containers running devices or browsers, and of course the POS core logic. So it makes it easy to manage and customize. And I just want to highlight here that it's straightforward to see is any of the deployments stressing about resources. We can see the browsers are by default running Chromium here, taking a little bit more memory consumption, but other than that, they look fine. And we have, of course, ordinary probes, so similar to what we see in a cloud deployment with OpenShift or Kubernetes. Really big, stressing this as a big win as well, because it means we can monitor our deployment in a similar way that we monitor our cloud environment by tools like Datadog, etc. So my demo is one thing I have to show, because I think it's quite cool, is that you can access via Avassa. So for the tech nerds out there, it means that you can access the container running there directly and troubleshoot it if you need. So I think that's just a really, really slick way to ease deployment. But looking at this, it just says 52. It doesn't say much. So I'm gonna need to whoops, I shouldn't have moved away from that, to update my application. So I'm running version 1.6.13, and I wanna fix my bug here, because it seems like I have messed up in my configuration of my primary screen. So what we see here is just an ordinary YAML file defining my deployment here.
Right.
And I have a deployment for my secondary browser, and I have a deployment for my primary browser up here. You can see the name here. So that's what we saw just before, running as containers. And looking at this, I can see I misspelled here. This is the primary, shouldn't say secondary. So I'm just gonna change that. Now I did a change to my YAML file, and this is similar to what I do in cloud, right? I also deploy via home charts or YAML files in whatever setup I run. So it's quite familiar. And now I just need to update the version number. So I'm gonna do a version 14 and submit these updates. Cool. So I can see that I'm running version 13 somewhere, and I have a pending version 14. So now I wanna do an update. So I move to deployments. One of the things that's of course very important when I work with edge devices is that I have a controlled way to do updates in production. So I have defined an application version with all my containers well defined in that, how they should run and interact. And I named the version, so I know exactly what I'm deploying, when I'm deploying. And then I have a way to do a deployment definition here. I can use scanner registration, staging, or rolling deployment to ensure that I don't just mass deploy to 100 edge devices and break all of them. Maybe I start with just the one and ensure that it boots and gets up and running and looks slow. But for now, I just have this single machine, so I'm gonna update that.
Yep. So you bumped the version there to match the one you had, the application version, basically.
Exactly. And well, you can see now behind me that it rebooted, and now I have a primary screen that actually shows a POS, and I can sign in. Oh,
you can sell me chewing gum.
I can sell bags at least. I don't have anything for the scanner, but I can sell stuff. I can
very cool
do cash, and I have a receipt being printed. So looks like I solved the issue. It went fairly fast, and that's one of the things I find magical about containerized deployment is the ease of use. And through the Avassa portal here, I really have direct management and understanding of my edge deployments.
Very cool. Thank you. Really cool demo. Actually, again, it really makes it effective with the screen there in the background. You can actually see things happening. So
it's a bit white.
Yeah, but it's really cool. Thank you. So, I mean, you've been on-prem or at the edge forever, right? But do you think this will mean that you can do this more often? Like, obviously fixing bugs, you do that as soon as you can, but kind of releasing more often and getting new features out to your customer more often, or how do you think about that?
Yeah. So it allows us to do direct management of edge devices. We can manage it as a service for our customers. The customers can own it themselves, and we can be tenants on their environment. It helps us get a faster way to troubleshoot the environment or help them with rolling out new updates. And if we manage it, of course, with alignment with the customer, we can easily do quick updates to minor issues that they may experience in production.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, I think, again, really cool. And now you can actually see the screen in the background.
Yeah, I guess my focus shifted a bit on the camera.
Yeah. Really cool. Thank you. Thank you very much for taking time being here and preparing and running through all this. Really impressive.